Amidst the faint mist, a hand presses cold granite rock into fresh cement. Light pierces through the wooden window like an invitation from the outside world. Inside, the red fire gently flickers, the breathing of the house coming to life. 30 days from dust to shelter, a man doesn't need much, only enough resilience to face the earth and the wind. The pit dug deep is dark. Each hoe strike buried into the damp earth is a vow against time. Half-meter wooden stakes drive deep. The foundation doesn't need concrete, only the compressive force of gravity and the stillness of the clay. A knife scrapes the bark clean, revealing the fresh golden core beneath. This step helps the wood release moisture, preventing wood borers from eating deep when the rainy season arrives. The posts stand vertical, straight as the benchmark of gravity. Grooves are meticulously carved with an axe. Nails won't hold forever under winter pressure, but the V-shaped notches resist snow and mud. A hand pushes a log across, eyes measuring the gap between the posts, a space wide enough for wind to pass without collapsing the wall when the ground settles. The house frame begins to form from sweat and the rules of natural construction. Steps are dug deep, tier by tier. The descent is not only for footing, but also to prevent wall collapse during rain. Round logs are stacked horizontally like natural bricks, gaps filled with sand-tempered clay. The surface is smooth beneath the palm. The pressure from the post's weight compresses the earth better than any glue. Walking back and forth, the pathway gradually takes clear shape beneath the earth. The fireplace sits within the wall, the heart of the underground house. A steel chimney pipe penetrates the earth roof. Heat escapes directly into the gray sky. Hands press cement firmly around the base of the pipe, leaving no gap for rain to enter. Grass roots intertwine across the dugout roof like living armor, retaining moisture and preventing erosion. When the smoke rises, the entire shelter seems to breathe. The blue tarp stretches flat like a false sky. The hammer strikes the dark posts rhythmically, each blow driving deeper into the fire-treated wood. The waterproofing layer not only repels rain, but also retains internal heat, a simple yet effective principle from prehistoric times. Hands smooth the sharp edges, trimming the logs so the joints fit perfectly, then securing each point with galvanized steel nails. Inside the stove, a ventilation slot is shaped by a piece of serrated steel. Enough air enters to keep the fire stable. Crossbeams are tight. A hand fastens nuts to secure the roof frame. Cement mortar mixed with blue waterproofing is poured slowly around the chimney base to prevent rainwater seepage. Stones are laid in a perfect circle. A gentle push adjusts their vertical alignment. Every small detail determines the lifespan of the entire structure. Sand is spread evenly across the gaps between the wall and the floor. A hand gently rakes the sand, letting it flow into every small hole. Water is poured from above, compacting the sand like shaping mortar. The horizontal logs on the upper level are complete. Large stones are placed heavily on both sides of the chimney. Every stone fits tightly. The fireplace begins to take shape from sand and stone. The circle of stones surrounds the chimney like an impenetrable rampart. Roof beams are placed horizontally. A hand slowly pushes the logs to slide into the V-grooves carved the week before. Thin wood shavings fly white from the axe. The sharpened tip is trimmed for a gap-free fit. Logs are stacked atop one another like protective armor, each grain telling its own story of the forest and of time. Each new log, with its fresh golden core, is lifted high and fitted tightly into the corner notches. The blue waterproofing layer acts like a modern shield lining the interior, protecting the wood from moisture and mold. Stripping the bark and tight fitting are core principles. No gap is allowed, preventing drafts and insects. The weight of the stacked logs compresses the structure, creating natural stability. The earth floor is leveled, ready to receive the warmth from the fireplace. The roof frame is complete. Thin logs are stacked densely like chainmail against the sky. This is the final step to retain heat and prevent collapse when the heavy layer of earth is applied. Precision becomes paramount, from leveling the main door frame to measuring the first planks for the shelves. The underground space is beginning to take the form of a house, not just a hiding place. Shovelfuls of earth are tossed onto the roof, covering the thin tarp, creating a natural layer of insulation and waterproofing. The massive weight of the earth compresses the entire house frame. At the same time, I meticulously seal the skylight with silicone, ensuring not a drop of moisture penetrates. The darkness in the chamber must be diffused. The shelter gradually sinks into the earth, shielding him from the outside world. Earth and dry pine needles are leveled, creating perfect camouflage for the roof. The skylight is secured. The glass pane reflects the heavy gray sky. From inside the chamber, he crafts simple wooden steps and continues to whittle the rough planks. The process of surface refinement is ongoing. From a hiding place beneath the earth, it is about to become a cozy and discreet dwelling. He uses a natural branch as a coat hanger, adding a simple shelf above the fire pit. He checks the ventilation holes one last time. Cold air enters. Moisture is expelled. After weeks of labor, his body rests on the warm mattress. This is the first night the shelter belongs to him. Sturdy, round wooden steps lead down into the earth. He carefully uses the gas torch to char every layer of wood on the steps and the door frame, creating a natural shield against time. A hand twists the doorknob made from a unique root, feeling the sturdiness. Light from the skylight and small windows shines through, illuminating the skillfully carved wooden layers. The man finishes the small windows, using the torch flame to harden the protective wood surrounds. The doorknob made from a root is installed, bringing a rustic texture. Inside, he crafts natural shelves, using rocks and bark as survival-themed decorations. Every small detail shapes the space, turning the shelter into a part of him. He applies natural preservative oil to all the wood, both inside and out. The dark oil penetrates deep, preventing mold while highlighting the wood grain. This is the final step to ensure the structure lasts through many winters. Completing the table and shelves, the man brings in the first provisions: firewood, an axe, and foraged mushrooms. He stuffs insulation into the gaps, ensuring the chamber is sealed tight. Next, he builds complex ventilation ducts outside. Air exchange is critical to prevent moisture buildup and wood decay. The man hangs survival gear on the walls, a crude slingshot and a wooden mallet. The shelter is ready, both functionally and personally. He carefully frames the air duct with flat planks, creating a long, sturdy box. This is the channel that brings fresh air deep into the chamber, preventing moisture and CO2 accumulation. The man uses his strength to lift the duct and fit it into the ceiling corner. Under the dim light, the artificial breathing system of the chamber is finally complete, ensuring long-term habitation. Mortar and cement seal the smallest gap between the bottom log and the earth floor. This is the final step to prevent cold air and insects from infiltrating from the ground. On the roof, he finishes the ventilation pipe with a layer of bark and a wooden shield, ensuring air exchange while protecting against rain seepage. The man begins to build the secondary wooden floor. He raises the supports off the cold earth with small stone slabs, using a level to ensure perfect flatness. The planks are treated with a special yellow solution to resist moisture and mold. He builds a large door frame to seal the entrance to the chamber, completing the isolation of the house from the earth. Each floor plank is laid quickly and snugly onto the chemically treated load-bearing frame. The finished wooden floor creates an air cushion, completely isolated from the ground's dampness. He prepares small wooden pegs for hanging items, ensuring everything has a fixed place. The floor is warm and solid. The fire flickers in the hearth. The man has completed his dwelling. He shaves thin feather sticks, then successfully lights the fire. He continues to seal every gap around the fireplace with clay mortar. The rough clay layer is smoothed, serving as fireproof and insulating material. The flame dances behind the glass. Warm red light spreads. Work is complete. He sits at the table, enjoying the first warmth of the house. Unexpected heavy snow falls, an immediate test for the structure. He frantically cuts planks, using the torch to char the wood frame, preparing to install the door that shields the stairs. This is the final layer of insulation, preventing drafts and melting snow. Inside the chamber, he wipes the fireplace glass clean, ensuring perfect heat efficiency. The outdoors are freezing, but the fire has triumphed over winter's harshness. He reinforces the wall corners with small wooden wedges, then moves to assemble the permanent sleeping frame. The bed is elevated off the floor to avoid the ground chill. He screws in the treated planks, creating a sturdy platform, ensuring a dry place to sleep during winter. The shelter finally has a safe resting place, exceeding all standards of survival. He finishes the bed surface with tightly secured planks, lying down to test the sturdiness of the new resting place. The bed has become a dual-function system, a high platform isolating moisture, and a storage space for dry firewood. The man fills the space beneath with wood, ready for the coldest nights. Every material has a purpose. Every corner is optimized for life. From rough round logs, this secondary bench is also elevated and fitted with treated planks. He utilizes every gap beneath the bench to store firewood and supplies, maximizing self-sufficiency. Every corner of the room is filled with necessities. The underground house has achieved total autonomy. The man places a mattress and blankets on the bed, creating a cozy space. He installs additional insulation and a lock for the entrance door. Then, he uses a knife and a gas torch to treat wood, crafting a small kitchen counter and rustic shelves. He places teapots and cooking utensils on the shelves. Every detail is carefully attended to, transforming the shelter into a real home. He lays the mattress and blankets on the bed, adding wooden backrests. Simultaneously, he carefully fits thick felt insulation into the main door frame. This felt layer is the most effective draft shield, retaining precious internal warmth. He secures the final floor plank, ensuring no gap is left for the cold to penetrate. With such meticulous preparation, the chamber is now ready for the harsh winter. Snow covers the roof, creating the ultimate layer of insulation. The man wraps himself in blankets, experiencing the first winter night in the chamber. The warmth from the stove and the natural insulation retain heat perfectly. There are no drafts, no mold. He wakes up, facing the blizzard with a complete sense of safety. The shelter has now become a truly warm home. He divides the chamber into two separate areas, carefully measuring and screwing bright planks, creating a new boundary on the floor. Dividing the space helps retain heat more efficiently in the main living area. The work is refined. Every right angle is adjusted to ensure the door frame fits snugly against the wooden floor. The structure is complete, but his desire to optimize the space continues. Wide, flat planks are assembled on a sturdy wooden frame. He uses a gas torch to treat the surface, increasing durability and highlighting the wood grain. This table is the center of the chamber, the place for meal preparation and survival planning. The last large piece of crafting is complete, transforming the space into a compact kitchen and workspace. He lightly chars the edges for durability, then places small natural sticks into the central groove. The round logs create a unique decorative channel, serving as both a rustic highlight and helping the table release heat. This proves that all materials are reused and elevated aesthetically. The structure is now a work of survival art. He installs hinges, fitting the custom-made internal door into the frame. Then, he attaches a curved root piece as a doorknob, creating continuity between forest materials and construction techniques. This door completes the thermal zoning. He tightly secures small wooden sticks as decoration on the table, ensuring the durability of every detail. With the space divided, the chamber has gained more function, ready to welcome guests. The second door frame, reinforced with diagonal supports, creates a sturdy passage leading into the sleeping room. He adds another layer of insulation into the gap, ensuring every corner is sealed against drafts. Homemade felt insulation is meticulously packed into the door's gaps, creating a robust protective wall against the harsh cold. He continues to char the surface of the planks to finish the new door, then attaches it to the frame. He adds a doorknob made from a natural tree branch. Homemade insulating material is pressed tightly into the gaps to retain warmth. This door serves both as a thermal barrier and has a rustic aesthetic, fitting the overall look of the chamber. Everything is complete. The survival space is ready for another harsh winter. He meticulously carves a small branch, turning it into a curtain rod. He hangs the fabric sewn from his wife's old dress over the window. Then, he attaches a simple hook to the wall, creating a place to hang necessary items. He installs the felt ceiling and a moisture barrier beneath the roof, further reinforcing the thermal insulation. The finished ceiling is now bright and refined. This structure of survival architecture is now a complete living space with a personal touch. The man begins paneling the ceiling with light-colored wooden boards, securing them onto the moisture barrier. He meticulously cuts the corners, ensuring every board fits tightly around the skylight frame. The finished ceiling not only enhances aesthetics, but also creates an air cushion, preventing moisture condensation. The space beneath the roof immediately becomes brighter and more refined. This work is a perfect blend of crude survival technique and modern comfort. He continues paneling the ceiling, securing the final boards to the frame. This work requires absolute precision when fitting around the triangular skylight. The ceiling not only covers the moisture barrier, but also acts as the final barrier against the cold from the earth roof. He gently uses a hammer to tap the boards into the joint. Every light-colored wooden piece is assembled, transforming the dark space into a clean, warm interior compartment. He continues paneling the ceiling, securing the final boards to the frame. This work requires absolute precision when fitting around the triangular skylight. The ceiling not only covers the moisture barrier, but also acts as the final barrier against the cold from the earth roof. He gently uses a hammer to tap the boards into the joint. Every light-colored wooden piece is assembled, transforming the dark space into a clean, warm interior compartment. He places the finished, rustic thermometer on the log at the entrance, starting to monitor the temperature difference. Inside, under the dim light, he meticulously shaves thin kindling sticks and bends wire, preparing for the coming freezing days. Though all major work is done, the man understands that survival work never stops. He must always be ready for any situation. A secret compartment is hidden deep within the logs, where he will store his most important survival tools. He uses the torch to treat the wood, increasing the durability of the niche, then installs it discreetly beneath the log wall. Outside, under the deep night sky, the only light from the chamber illuminates the prepared pile of firewood. Even in a safe space, protecting survival gear remains the top priority. The man crafts a fold-down wall rack from rustic, fire-treated planks. He installs sturdy hinges, mounting the rack onto the wall above the bench. This rack optimizes vertical space, usable for storage or as a drying area. When folded, it blends into the wall, keeping the chamber tidy. Every small detail is calculated to enhance the quality of life in the harsh environment. A slingshot, large knife, and wire are neatly hung on a metal grid. He designs a removable wooden rack next to the door to hold kindling. With every tool in its proper place, the chamber demonstrates its readiness to face any challenge. The last wooden hooks, neatly hanging survival tools and personal items on the wall. A slingshot, wire, knife, and mug are organized on the shelf, everything within reach. He places his backpack in the corner, turning the shelter into a complete base. Construction work is over. The chamber is ready. He shifts to domesticating the surrounding land. He uses a shovel to dig small hollows in the damp earth, then sets round wooden slices down, forming a pathway. This wooden path prevents mud from sticking to his boots, maintaining the cleanliness of the chamber. Each wooden slice is pressed tightly into the earth, integrating the structure with nature. The shelter is now not only a fortress, but also an orderly part of the landscape. The pathway is complete. The man sits on his three-legged stool, continuing the work of stripping bark and smoothing young branches. Removing the bark helps the wood release moisture and prevents insect attacks, securing reserve material for future projects. A dog passes by, accompanying him in the waning winter. Survival work never ends, but now it is done in safety and peace. Survival work enters the phase of energy autonomy. The man uses a large drill bit to bore deep into a thick log, creating the shaft for the wind turbine. This turbine, combined with the solar panel and battery, will ensure power for the chamber. This is a blend of crude forest techniques and modern technology. In the warm chamber, he aims to overcome dependency, moving towards a completely self-sufficient life. He patiently uses a carving knife to make precise cuts in the log, preparing to install the blades for the wind generator. This is the hardest stage. Every cut must be perfect for the turbine to operate smoothly. Inside, he crafts dry grass mats to lay on the floor and walls, so enhancing natural insulation. The work balances harnessing natural energy and creating maximum comfort. The man continues the work of crafting the wind turbine, using a knife and axe to split and shape each log piece into an airfoil blade. He fire treats the concave side of the blade, not only for waterproofing, but also to create a rudimentary aerodynamic shape. The shaft and the blades are assembled, marking the birth of the energy machine. He uses the torch to dry and harden the drilled holes on the turbine shaft. Digging the hole in the snow and frozen ground is extremely difficult work, but it is the foundation for energy autonomy. He uses the metal pole to check the depth. Amidst the snow, 3 support poles form a solid base for the turbine mast. He then installs the finished rotor shaft onto a Y-shaped brace, using a small piece of plastic/wax as a homemade bearing to reduce friction. This is the secret of the manual rotation mechanism. He installs the final fabric-covered blades onto the rotating shaft. It stands tall on the snowy ground, ready to receive the first gusts of wind. A wooden frame protects the solar panel. He installs it near the entrance. This frame allows the panel to be easily moved outside for charging and safely stored. With wind power and solar power, the chamber's autonomy is complete, ready to face any challenge. The snow melts. The earth roof has proven its absolute insulation capability. The rustic wooden pathway leads to the sturdy door. The man sets the solar panel outside, ready to harvest energy. The wind machine stands there, a declaration of self-reliance. The structure is now a firm fortress, blending nature and the will to survive. The journey of building the survival fortress has concluded, but the self-sufficient life is just beginning. If you love persistence, primitive techniques, and the longing for freedom in the wild, join us to continue exploring. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming nature-conquering projects.